60 years ago, on the 23rd of May 1940, a 24-year-old Englishman, Paul Klipsch, climbed into his Spitfire and flew across the Channel. It was the first time that his squadron had gone to war, and it was Klipsch's first day of combat. It was also to be his last. The combat report simply said, "killed in action." We know where his plane went down in northern France, but we don't exactly know how or why it crashed. Time Team have got just 3 days to uncover the wreck of one of the earliest Spitfires of World War II and to tell the story of its pilot, Paul Klipsch. This is a unique opportunity to excavate a Mark I Spitfire, the earliest type. For our 3-day invasion, we've recruited an elite task force of archaeologists, Spitfire historians and an air crash investigator. We've also been joined by Paul Klipsch's stepbrother, Eric. When was the last time you were in France, Eric?
When we crashed into D-Day.
1944?
Normandy, yes. 1944, yes. That was literally my last visit to France.
Well, this is the village, isn't it?
That's right, Fieldwork, yes.
So there should be some kind of pub or cafe.
Echo.
Virtually all the Spitfire crash sites in Britain have been cleared away.
Yep,
this is it. But the World War II researchers who discovered this one believe it's lain undisturbed since 1940. They're going to be working with us over the next 3 days. Hi.
Hi, Tony.
Hello, Tony. Hi, Tony.
How did you find this site?
A fellow historian friend of ours was here on holiday, and he got to hear about an RAF pilot who was buried in the local churchyard here, whose plane apparently crashed very close to the village.
So how do we start?
We're going to set up the incident room behind the pub.
Very sensible idea. It would have been the nerve centre of the village in the 1940s.
Absolutely.
And it still is today.
And it will be today, yeah.
So where precisely is the site where the airplane crashed?
Down a small lane, and we do have a couple of witnesses from the village who hopefully will meet us down there.
And do they speak English?
I don't think so.
And do we speak French?
Don't look at me.
The first thing to do is to find someone who speaks English well enough to help us. Come on.
Right.
When Steve Vizard's not researching Spitfire history, he makes a living rebuilding old warplanes. But this is the first time he and his colleagues have been part of an archaeological dig. May the 23rd, 1940 was a turning point in the Battle of France. On May the 10th, the German army invaded, advancing rapidly towards the coast. On the 23rd, Spitfires met German fighters in combat for the first time. Among the planes was Spitfire number P9373 and its pilot, Paul Klipsch. At the crash site, half a mile from the village, Carenza's found our French eyewitnesses. She's having to rely on her school French, which turns out to be surprisingly good.
Quel âge aviez-vous quand le Spitfire anglais s'était cassé ici?
Moi j'avais 16 ans.
That's 16 years?
16 ans.
Et vous?
18 ans.
These are 18 years old.
Okay.
So how many British aircraft and how many German aircraft were involved?
Je pense 15 avions anglais,
About
je
15,
pense. Hein.
15 English aircraft.
30 à 40 avions
Oh,
allemands.
30 to 40 German aircraft, so they were heavily outnumbered.
Heavily
Yes.
outnumbered then,
Yes.
yeah.
Ça dure longtemps?
Un quart d'heure, je pense.
Just about a quarter of an hour. So short and sharp.
Was there a fire when it hit the ground?
Ah non, non, il a explosé ici. Il a explosé au sol. Oui.
When the plane crashed, did it all go deep into the ground or just scatter on the surface?
Il restait seulement que la queue de l'appareil. Hein, la queue de l'appareil, 1,50 m environ.
Right.
Eric, is there anything else that you want to know now?
After the plane had crashed, who came to collect
the body?
Après l'accident, est-ce que quelqu'un a ramassé le corps du pilote?
Pas après l'accident, le lendemain matin.
The
Le
day
lendemain
after.
matin, oui.
Et c'est quoi?
Following day.
Ce sont des gens du village.
Les gens du village.
Oui, oui.
People in the village
Yeah.
came.
What are we going to do then?
Well, we're going to do the geophysics across the field because that'll actually, you know, find the engine and guns and things like that. But also, because it's ploughed, we'll field walk the field.
Next to the crash site, Steve Vizard and his mates are laying out a full-size plan of a Spitfire for us. We'll place our finds in position on it as we go.
And that is going to be the propeller, right?
It is. With about where Mick has got it on the back.
What's the wingspan going to be?
36 foot.
How's that looking straight, Jeff? And one more there. So there's our Spitfire.
Pretty much.
It's quite a sizable beast, isn't it?
The eyewitnesses tell us that somewhere in this field, the debris spread over at least 30 metres, so we're dividing it into 20-metre squares for geophysics and field walking.
Okay then, nice and steady.
So how many aircraft wrecks have you dug up then, Steve?
Well, we've actually got parts of about nearly 500 represented, but I guess that's actually been about 200 excavations over the years.
The air history enthusiasts are also combing the same grid, using their normal method. Every fragment represents a vital clue. Nothing is removed until its exact location has been plotted by Bernard.
Aluminium there.
The field walk has uncovered dozens of small finds, but it's the metal detectorists who are coming up trumps.
What you growing here then, Pegs?
Well, we started metal detecting right from the top of the field beyond where everybody is, where our ranging poles were. It's the same
Yeah.
transect. But we're really sort of pinpointing the focus of the metal, I think, from this.
That's
I think
very
it's
interesting.
Look, you
isn't
see
it?
it's really dying off on the outside.
And on top of all that, we've now got our geophys results.
I've got the...
Ah.
That's our last year.
So we're getting all sorts of results now.
This is the corner of the field,
Right, yeah.
and this is the 60-metre block.
So this is
And
the
I've
same.
divided it into the 20-metre squares.
And where are we?
We're actually stood at this point here.
Oh, right. So right.
On the edge
so,
of
yeah.
that, Constance?
If you actually look at the charts, you can see there's actually 3 large lumps of iron in the core.
Like an engine and 2 clusters of guns, perhaps.
And then a couple of outliers
Right.
beyond, but there's a clear concentration, almost in a sort of depression.
Crater.
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
that's probably the clearest target we've ever had, I would have thought, isn't it?
So what would you reckon?
So you
is
could
initial?
actually home in on probably something, well, 8 by 8.
But that's still a pretty big trench, and we don't yet know how deep down our plane actually is.
You can actually work out where the field is that the...
Our task over the 3 days isn't just to recover the pieces, but to analyse all the evidence to work out what happened. For this particular time team, we're combining archaeology with the techniques of air crash investigation.
Well, what we're doing is using all the evidence we can get together. Air photography, eyewitness reports, evidence from the ground itself to tell us something about a point in time. And that's what archaeology is, isn't it? It's to try and find something about a point in time.
But normally if you were investigating a site, you'd just whip the metal out and have a look at it, wouldn't you?
No. It's a combination of both, really. Of course, eventually we have to recover the wreckage, but I think archaeological techniques are more appropriate to this because we're 59 years late on the accident site and we need every bit of help we can get.
I think what you've got there is like 2 or 3.
Carenza and Mark, one of our air history enthusiasts, think they're close to where at least one of the plane's guns is buried.
Just see the back, and there's another piece of steel there with it. It looks like several, actually, 2 or 3.
Mick, Phil.
Yeah?
I'm a bit concerned here. We've got a huge
crikey.
cache of... So we've got one there, lots here, all around here, there, back here.
Just
I mean-
keep going.
Are they in
don't
any
really-
sort of order?
Are you concerned because they might blow up or...
No, I'm concerned that that might be part of the gun. I'm concerned that I'm not entirely confident about taking these out as small fronds from the topsoil. I don't know whether we shouldn't be excavating them properly.
We should.
Well, why don't we leave that until we've started to strip it and then do it separately?
I'm just concerned we might hit this sort of problem again and again. I'm slightly worried as to whether we really ought to be stripping this with a machine at all, whether we ought not to do it by hand.
But elsewhere, we're only getting odd, small fragments of aluminium and little washers and things. Yeah. This is the most different thing we've seen on the whole trench, isn't it? I think we should do this by hand.
I mean,
Very close.
there is no way we can dig the entire trench by hand.
No.
I mean, this is heavy old clay.
No.
Yeah.
This
And I think
is very close, though, you see, to that other cache of bullets we had. This is that's where the other one was that we saw right first thing this morning.
Part of the same thing.
It's all in the same area, and I think we need to know exactly how they all lie in the relationship.
But we had nothing else like that in the area. They've only been isolated bits.
Oh, really?
So,
well, that's...
I think I still have quite a lot of confidence we could take the other stuff off
Oh,
carefully.
God,
Despite Carenza's reservations about using a machine, we've got no choice. A trench 8 metres square is just too large to dig by hand in 2.5 days. And it's not long before the digger reveals the first big pieces of metal, just a few inches below the surface.
And look, we got one in there, look.
Yeah.
And there's one there. They coincide with big spikes on the geophysics.
Yeah.
We're wondering whether or not they're actually the back ends of guns where the thing has gone through.
Right.
Because as you come over here, look.
Oh, yeah.
We got what looks like
Natural
good,
again.
clean, natural clay. So we literally have. We got the natural geology with this big crater in it. Crater's got to be in here, and then we've possibly got back end of a gun, the back end of a gun.
So you've got alignment across the middle like that.
Tallies up with where Carenza's
Yeah, so
digging.
it's come in like that
it
then.
looks as though at the minute the plane was coming straight down there, and there's our wing alignment.
And it
tallies up with what Carenza's got over there.
All the ammunition.
Yeah.
The Spitfire had 8 machine guns mounted along the wings. Apart from the engine, these are the heaviest pieces. If the lighter bits of airframe are missing, the position of the guns will show us where the rest of the plane should be. Did the family ever see him fly?
My father and my stepmother saw him fly at very great speed along the road in which we lived.
Along the road?
Yes, well, just up enough to...
Well, he just came and flew over your house?
That's right, yes, making such a noise, and just high enough to miss the houses, and then swooping up over our house and off away. You could see Paul laughing over the edge of the plane. No, he was a lad of great character in many ways.
As the digger strips away the topsoil, we're picking up more fragments from all over the site. In the incident room, our eyewitnesses are recalling every last detail of the air battle. The clues they give us could be just as valuable as the remains in the field.
You've actually got a lot of stuff in just there. Oh, look at that. What's that then, Steve?
Which Steve? Oh,
both Steves, I think.
Writing. It's very much like the back of a feed chute from one of the guns.
Well, it looks. I mean, it does actually say port. I mean, does that help at all, Steve?
You bet it does. Gives an indication.
This end here now.
It's the left-hand wing.
Red numbers on it.
Oh, no, another one. Port or starboard? This one's got port on it.
Your one has. We've only got the serial number so far. Yeah, it's ST, starboard.
Oh, look. So we know that that's left is port, this is starboard, so it's coming down this way, so the top of the aeroplane's on this side, isn't it?
I think no doubt.
Cockpit and
Cockpit's there.
on this side, yeah. That's incredible. We don't normally get archaeology labelled like that.
The serial number P9373 is positive proof that we have our plane. And these port and starboard labels are important clues. They tell us that the remains of the port or left wing is here, with Carenza's starboard or right wing here. The plane appears to have nosedived into the ground, just as the eyewitnesses said.
What's all this?
Well, this is really interesting. We hit it really soon. You can see how shallow the bullets at the top are in the soil. And we've been really carefully excavating it ever since, really. Obviously, it's a whole load of bullets together. But what's really interesting, the story that seems to be starting to come out of this is none of them have been fired. Can you see it there? There's no indentation.
Yes.
They've been fired. The mechanism would have indented the top. And the bullets have got pushed back in. You can see here, that's the tip of the bullet, and it's been pushed back into the casing. You can see there the bullet's halfway.
By the force of the impact?
Yeah, exactly. You can see here's one where it hasn't happened. That's the sort of full length of one.
So what do you think the story might be?
Well, it looks as if Klipsch didn't get much of a chance to have a crack at the enemy before he got shot himself, because he hasn't used so many of his bullets.
And do you reckon this mass here might go down much further?
Well, yeah, might do, yep. We'll have to wait till tomorrow to find out.
Mick?
Yeah.
You don't seem to have got very far on your side of the trench.
Scandalous.
We've defined the fuselage of the Spitfire with the wings going off on each side and a lot of the detail of that.
It's just mud.
We've got a long way to go down. There's probably between 2 and 3 metres before we get to propeller at the bottom there.
And it's going to be crammed full with material.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, right in that area.
So, end of day one. We've already got the shape of the plane. Tomorrow, let's hope we can get down there and see what it actually looks like. It's the second day of our Spitfire dig in northern France, and we've got a problem. The weather's changed overnight. There's been a lot of showers which have made this clay very claggy, although they're holding off at the moment. There's a big debate going on about precisely how we should get this plane out. What do you want to do, Mick?
Well, we've started, and like as if it's a proper archaeological excavation, I think we have to go on like that. So my feeling would be that we treat the central area where the fuselage is much as we would on a normal site. I think we should take it off probably in 10 centimetre spits, actually, so that we can see what we've got as we go down.
Why do you need layers? You don't need strata in the way that we're not going to date the stuff, are we?
Bit by bit,
We're
really,
just taking it bit,
big
that's right,
wodge.
to understand it. And I mean, if we do it like...
What do you mean to understand it? Why can't you understand it by digging it out and looking at it?
The way I would approach it is to actually machine dig around the outside of the crater and go in and then lift the whole thing just vertically, because it's all going to be sort of compacted. The bits I want to see are all going to be on top of the engine, I'm sure.
We start off going down in spits and establish what we've got and where it is, and then decide how we can deal with it from then on.
Well, yes, I mean, we need to determine how deep it is anyway for a start.
The thing is, if we start doing it in spits, when we come to those delicate parts, the cockpit area, we can actually do them really carefully with a trowel. Once we start getting to the top of the engine, we can then dig round it, like you said, and actually dig right down past the engine. That's going to be a big lump, hopefully.
If you can, let us have a go at it archaeologically for the first half a day, see how we get on. We can revise the strategy later on if it doesn't work, or we...
Yeah, but this isn't like the normal archaeological site that we do. At the end of the day, we can't say, oh, well, this is very interesting, we'll cover it up and another archaeologist will come along at another time.
It is very different to what we'd normally do.
We've got to finish the job.
Absolutely, but let's try and do it as we intended to start with. Give us, just, say, half a day to try it.
For the time being, we continue to dig by hand. Our two main targets are the fuselage and the wings. Inside the former, we hope to find the cockpit controls, which may indicate the circumstances of the crash. Inside the wings are the machine guns. They could produce vital clues as to what happened in the battle above this field 59 years ago.
What have you found? Anything? Oh, more bullets.
Yep, lots more bullets. We took off that top layer that you could see yesterday. What we have got, we reckon that might be the edge of the ammo box, Mark. That's what you think, isn't it?
This construction here, this flange that's turned over there is typical with the construction of the box, and obviously it's in the hole with the ammunition, which makes sense, that it should be there.
Yeah, well, of course, what I want to see, though, are the guns. I think this is a gun associated with that case, I suspect, and it's the angle of that is in the soil that it's going to tell me about the attitude of the aircraft.
Well, as soon as we can get all this cleared out, and I think we're going to go down this a bit quicker now. It's very difficult digging.
Right. Well, I think that's where Mick's going to have problems with his idea of digging down in the main crater. I think he's going to run out of time.
As the main trench gets wider, so does our search for other clues. Historian Guy de la WWII has met another eyewitness.
L'avion a tiré et alors le Spitfire est tombé avec le moteur à fond.
And Stuart reading through German combat reports, looking for details of the dogfight over WWII. Paul Klipsch was a member of 92 Squadron, based at Hornchurch in Essex. We've been joined by one of the pilots who flew alongside him on that fateful day, May the 23rd, Alan Wright.
It was a beautiful day, and we're up there, and I was flying happily, and our squadron was tootling along. The next thing was a formation of 1 lines above us, coming over quite a few, as I remember. What you did was to go after them. And they came to you, but you go to them, well, then it starts.
Had you had much training in fighting those sort of fighters?
Oh, not at all. All our training, which was very detailed, was in attacking bombers. Instead of that, we met these fighters attacking us, and we had to make up our own minds. And I was pretty much as green as you were.
But if you were green, were the German pilots as green as you?
No, this is the difference. The Spanish War had been going on for some time, and the Germans fought. In fact, some say that they did it to get the training, for battle training, for when they were going to start the Second World War. So they were experienced, and we were absolutely not.
Just tell us how much ammunition actually you had, and how long an air battle like that took.
Well, I've forgotten the figures now, but I think we've got 8 guns, and you can fire for 15 seconds, I think.
That's it. That's your lot.
That's it.
But the Spitfire had one crucial advantage.
Well, we soon found out that we could turn inside, so you can do a tighter turn. Well, that means that if you're behind shooting at him, he can't get away from you because you're always keeping your sight ahead of him, you see. But it's the other way around, and you're in front, he's attacking you. You immediately go into a tight turn, and then he can't shoot at you. So you sort it out from there.
But while you were doing all that, did you have any idea what was happening to the rest of your colleagues, like Paul Klipsch?
None at all. None at all.
When did you know that Paul Klipsch had gone down?
When we got back, there were several missing. There were 4, as far as I remember. And we reduced to some 8 aircraft the next sorting.
So, on your first day, virtually, you'd lost a third of your people. How did you feel about that?
Later on, I felt very keenly about that over a period of time, because so many had been lost. But in the early days, one didn't think of the future. Well, the present was interesting enough.
To keep flying, the pilots relied heavily on the mechanics and fitters, who often had to fix aircraft under the most primitive conditions.
Good to see you. Where am I digging?
Well, you're not digging, mate.
Phil's been given the challenge of repairing an original Spitfire wing flap. He'll be using the same kind of materials and equipment that would have been used at a frontline airfield.
Is this the sort of damage then that you get in combat?
Absolutely, yeah. Anti-aircraft fire.
Helping him are Michael Jacobs and Chris Michelle, who've got years of experience. Phil has just 1 day to learn.
Make a damn good try then.
The test of his workmanship will come tomorrow morning, when we'll compare his wing flap with one on a fully operational Spitfire.
So, I mean, this is our bit of the wing. Where does it fit on here? This is all painted brown and green.
Yeah. Yeah, what it is the starboard main flap, which runs
white bit
from that point there to that point there. It's basically an air brake to slow the aeroplane down when it comes into land.
So it literally pivots down and opens up like a door,
like a door. Absolutely.
I see.
The first thing we've got to do is de-rivet all the structure.
God, there's a lot of them.
There are. There's specified 150 rivets there that you've got to drill out. Quite easy. So
I can go on with this one,
You can indeed.
Yep. Missed. Oops, missed again. Missed again. Ah!
You got it.
Ah! Only another 100 to go.
Yeah.
Despite the digging conditions, the row of small craters left by the machine guns are slowly giving up their secrets.
This is all the side of the gun here, isn't
Yeah.
it? That's
Yeah,
it's
it
not
goes
very
right
easy
down.
to
I mean,
see
that's-
that. So how much further down do you reckon it's going to go?
Well, I reckon it goes about another foot and a half.
So that's number 4.
Yeah.
We've got 2 in this pitch with Jenny, so that's 3.
Number 3.
That's
number
2.
2.
And the one
The guns and the rest of the plane belong to Her Majesty's government, whose representative, the aptly named Wing Commander Gunner, is going to make sure we're doing everything correctly.
It's a great interest to me as a fighter pilot myself to be here and see this excavation taking place.
What can we do with it and what can't we do?
What you can't do with it is use any of it for commercial purposes, in the sense of selling it or as souvenirs. But any aircraft that is dug up here in France, we are more than happy for it to be displayed in museums where it can be used to explain the history of what went on in these days so long ago.
So if Steve Vizard takes some away to put in his museum on the Isle of Wight, you won't worry?
If he writes politely and asks, I'll probably be delighted to say yes.
Stuart to Tony.
Stuart's examination of the aerial photographs has led him to an unlikely corner of this foreign field.
What I've been doing is following the logic of this aeroplane crash, and if the crash is over there, there's material on the surface. First thing farmers do over a period of time is get rid of rubbish into the ditches at the edge. And so I've been good up here trying to find that, and Joe's been following this metal detector.
Yeah, it's fairly large. We've got two responses, one fairly big and another one that's fairly deep. And it's fairly large, whatever it is.
It might be nothing, it might be an old tractor or something, but we need to go down just in a 1 metre test and then see where we go from there.
While Phil's busy with the wing flap repair, Carenza's taken over the excavation of the fuselage. How much do you reckon we've got down there, Carenza?
Well, it's difficult to say at this stage. We've only just started to come down onto it, but it's all pretty solid, so quite a lot, I would have thought. Steve?
Yep.
Do you come and have a look at this, please? We've just hit the first metal within the impact crater.
Yeah.
Have you any idea what part of the plane this might be?
No, I don't, but I think it's fairly important to establish which bits they are, because it's going to tell us how much of the aircraft is in the main crater. Everything forward of that we should have down the hole, so I think it's pretty vital.
If this is just the nose, for example, then we're not going to have very much more, whereas if it's right back near the tail,
right back in the rear fuselage,
we're going to have lots and lots more of it.
Yes.
Yes, Tony.
Have you any idea what this is?
Yes, it's a piece of wing. Yeah, it's where the inboard flap actually works, you know, that slows the aeroplane up or down.
I don't know if I'm being a bit stupid about this, but I thought, I mean, we've got the round crater here, and that very graphically to me looks like it's the bit where the middle, the fuselage of the plane, sort of ploughed into the ground and left a hole shaped the same shape as it. If we've got the wings in there, does that mean that possibly a lot of this is just stuff that has been pushed back in immediately after the crash?
Well, I think I'm right in saying that is going to be the inboard part of the wing, Steve.
Right.
That's where it meets the fuselage. It's obviously quite strong structure, so you know, that's why it's gone down.
So it's a bit of the inside of the wing that's been pulled in with the fuse.
Estimate of the depth of the engine, Steve?
No, I'm still sticking to yesterday's prediction, which was about 8 to 10 feet.
Okay.
8 to 10 feet, and it's 10 to 1, day 2.
Well, we've gone down a couple of feet so far today, so we'll just crack on with it.
But the weather intervenes. To add to our problems, the clay's so thick and heavy, the water simply won't drain away. The main trench is rapidly filling up with water. We're going to have to cover it with an inflatable. The digging's seriously behind schedule. Mixed 10-centimetre spits are just too slow.
150.
150 drilled out rivets later, Phil's ready to remove the damaged metal from the wing flap. The old rib is flattened to make a template for the new ones.
That's it. That's right. Just like that.
The rain has gone, but the problems are still with us. It is incredibly sludgy in here, but we're beginning to get a really good picture of the shape of the plane when it landed. We've got the wingtip here. We've got one machine gun where Mark is there. We've got two more over by where Carenza is. Here's where the wing joined the fuselage. We've got the fuselage here, and now coming up, we've got one of the port side guns here. And Steve, you can begin to tell now, can't you, the angle at which the plane came in?
Yeah, I think so, Tony. The aircraft was about 22 degrees beyond the vertical. So this is indicating that the aircraft has impacted, if that's the cockpit end, the aircraft has gone beyond the vertical. It hasn't quite gone straight down, it's slightly over the vertical.
Are you happy that we should continue excavating at this pace?
I'd rather you got going a bit faster. I'm getting everything I need from the guns. What I next need to see is the debris down in that crater. I'm quite impatient to start pulling it out.
In the fuselage crater, Phil's now getting a much clearer picture of the extent of the wreckage, at least near the surface.
It's very, very clean. There's just no finds in it at all. It's also very hard. But in here, look, you've got loads and loads of twisted metal work.
Yeah, everything is now under that, really.
That's right, and everything above it is just stuff that's dumped into it.
Well, what worries me is we're already down quite a way.
I know.
There's two of you in a hole and there's hardly room to move with the spoil and so on. My gut feeling is that we probably ought to take some of this clay around down.
So effectively what you're suggesting is like we would perhaps do with an urn then.
Yeah.
Take the natural away, leave the urn upstanding so you can actually give yourself a bit of room to get at it.
At last, Mick's agreed with Steve and the machine starts to dig down the sides of the wreckage. But as soon as we strip away the natural clay, the size of the impact crater begins to look ominously small.
It don't look like a very big hole to get a Spitfire into me.
Mick's worried most of the wreckage was scattered across the field at the time of the crash and is now lost. The frame of Phil's wing flap's repaired, but there's still a long way to go.
Now we've got to make the replacement skin panel.
So what did you do with your shovel?
I'd put it down there.
Right, OK.
You said I wouldn't need it.
Ah, well, there you go. Right. If you'd like to get the yellow botting stick again, mate.
And then it's just turn it over.
Phil's shovel handle makes a perfect mould for the leading edge of the new wing flap.
So then that's just mark it along there.
That's right.
Cut it.
Cut it
drill
into
it.
size.
Rivet it.
Job done.
And fly it. Can I let you guys do the cutting up and maybe you can get started on the drilling and the riveting. We're going to be pushed for time in the morning.
No problem, Phil.
OK,
We're done.
I'll see you then.
Cheerio.
The wing flap repair seems in better shape than the archaeology, but Carenza presses on.
Is that a piece, is it, or...?
Yes, it is. It's a big lump as well.
Is it?
God, it's incredibly heavy. Very heavy.
The balance weight. Balance weight.
Oh, right.
At last.
Oh, is that a key bit?
Oh.
For where?
Well, it must be rudder, isn't it?
That's the rib it sits in, probably, Carenza, as well.
Yeah.
So
And is this just staining of the paint here, then?
That's in roughly the right position.
Yeah.
The lead weight was designed to act as a counterbalance to the rudder and was mounted on top of the tailplane. If we've got part of the tail, there may be more of the aircraft left than Mick thinks. It's the end of day 2 and a suitable moment for an aperitif as we contemplate the Herculean task ahead of us tomorrow. It's been a frustrating day for you, isn't it?
Yes, it has, Tony.
But now that we're getting down the sides of the fuselage, is everything going to be all right?
I hope so. We've got a long way to go. I wish we could have started a bit earlier.
Yeah, no, but it's going to be all right. I mean, we started it doing it archaeologically. We defined the area, and we go in tomorrow with the diggers down here. So it's going to be OK, I'm sure.
I'll take your word for it.
On day 1, we found the plane. On day 2, we found the machine guns and got the angle at which the plane crashed into the field. But the rest of the story is down that hole. Let's hope we can find it tomorrow. Beginning of day 3, and the race is on to get our Spitfire out of its hole in the ground over the next few hours. Meanwhile, I'm standing in this empty field, waiting for something to happen. Well, something has happened. The crash site has been completely transformed by 2 hours' work with the digger. We found the whole of Spitfire P9373 crushed into a single lump of tangled metal. Only the tail wheel seems recognisable. Somewhere in here, we hope, are the answers we're looking for.
Are those ready to come out now?
We've also dug round all the remaining machine guns.
It's incredibly bright, isn't it? The clay's obviously preserved it. Right, OK, so that's number 3, isn't it? And that's number 2 you've got there, number 1's missing.
And Phil's putting the finishing touches to his wing flap.
Right. Oh, come on, Phil. There is urgency, man.
That's it. You've got it in the
He's in a rush because he's got an important appointment to keep in Boulogne and he can't afford to be late. This Spitfire, built in 1942, is virtually identical to Paul Klipsch's, and its pilot, Charlie Brown, will be Phil's wing flap quality inspector. Charlie? For Alan, who flew alongside Paul Klipsch, this is the closest he's been to a Spitfire in over 50 years. Can you get in?
Yes, of course you can.
Yes, I like to. Thank you very much.
No problem at all.
I'll just hang on.
You'll hear everything just winding down because we've just stopped the motor.
I'll remember how to do it.
Suddenly, Alan's 21 again.
This is great. This is absolutely terrific.
Like coming home.
How does it feel after all this time?
Everything seems so easy to move. It's a bit small, but you can see how neat it is.
What were the big problems flying one of these?
No problem at all. No problem in flying it, but there is restricted visibility, but you get used to that. You get used to that. Because the wing is so wide, but for fighting it's ideal.
In the nick of time, Phil arrives for his flap inspection.
Got your flap!
Hey!
Look at that! I knew we could do it! Look at that! Now...
You're not going to fit that onto the aircraft, are you?
I would love to try. I want to see how it works. I've seen this thing on the Airfix model. It's underneath there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. You better mind out because these flaps come down with a vengeance.
Oh, you can do it?
Yeah. Alan, would you pop the flaps down, please?
There you go.
Hey.
You see?
There you are.
That's it.
Okay.
Look at that.
Now, if we
See, I'll offer that up.
Now, how many would you give him out of 10?
Well, let's have a look and see what you got. What did you start with? There's some there's some lovely riveting there. I mean, that's nice and flush. 9 out of 10.
There,
That's right.
you see?
It's a blooming good job. I'd fly it.
This Mark I Spitfire is one of only 4 in the world still flying. Fortunately, the 2 wing flaps already on it are in perfect working order. Alan's flying days are over, so it's left to Charlie to pilot his plane home, while us lesser mortals watch from the sidelines. Now we can see how much of our plane's left. It's up to Steve Moss to begin to piece together the story of events.
Got something else interesting here, Corenzo. We knew it had to be there, but Mark found this one.
What we've done is we've extended this line of this wing, this trench slightly, and then
Right, so it interpolated to where the end of the wing should be.
That's right, yeah, which is approximately out there at the end, obviously, and we've located the pitot mast. Now this goes underneath the wing, and I'll just show you in this sketch we've got here, the Spitfire.
That little
goes
thing.
underneath the port wing there, and the air goes in a hole which is at the front, and then it measures the pressure of the air as it goes in and converts it into airspeed.
So it can that's what tells you your speed?
That tells you exactly how fast you're going, basically. Yeah.
Wow.
And if you look at it's broken in 2,
is
you
that
can
the
see the
wires
wires. Yeah,
inside it?
that's because it was heated to prevent ice forming. But I mean, it's told us its story
That's
now,
incredible.
and Mark's ready to take
Ready
it
to
away and put it on the
move this
layout.
Now, so there we go. There it is. It's actually flattened, look, the end.
Oh, yes.
The force of the impact, that should actually be cylindrical on that end. It's actually totally flattened it, which shows you the massive
force of the
impact that's happened there.
And there are loads more finds being cleaned and catalogued by the aviation enthusiasts. Alan, what have you got?
Oh, well, this bit of perspex. Not very big, but this bit.
You actually flew this plane once, didn't
Yes,
you?
I did.
This very plane. Why?
Well, this very plane arrived in the squadron, and the first thing one of the pilots has to take it up and air test it to see it's all working properly. I happen to be that bloke.
So 60 years ago, you actually looked through this piece of perspex when you were flying?
Well, I did. But what I find remarkable is that after all these years, when I look up through that, I can see it as clearly as I would have been able to see it on the first day. Isn't that extraordinary?
Amazing. Peter, what have you got?
part of the manufacturer's main data plate. This would be mounted on the right-hand side of the cockpit. You can just see Vickers Armstrong Limited, Supermarine Works, Southampton, dated manufacture 1/12/39.
Have you got anything which gives us any indication of what happened when it was falling to Earth?
Well, this is an interesting bit. It's a piece of 303 ammunition, but this is different from all the rest we found. This one's actually been fired. That means one of two things. It's either went into the ground firing the guns, or possibly one of the guns was jammed.
What about that old thing?
Well, what do you think that is?
Key fob?
Well, it's interesting. It's actually part of the pilot's apparel, part of his leather Irving jacket, you know, big flying jacket. It's the hook at the back where he would hang it up on a coat hook.
That spread of data.
Yesterday, Stuart searched the ditch around the edge of the field looking for parts of the plane.
And what we did get were finds that you'd expect from wings and the superstructure, which get broken off easily and pulled backwards and forwards. This one, for instance, is a machine gun mounting from the wing. So these are bits that would break off easily, be dragged by the plough, thrown in the ditch, whatever. But the piece de resistance on this is this little beauty. It's the mount for the aerial that's behind the cockpit. This, you can see, I found a photograph of one actually in position on the WWII Spitfire here. Can you see?
Oh yeah, still with the two bolts in it.
That's it. This is insulation here.
Yeah.
In the main trench, we finally dug down past the cockpit to the engine.
Crikey, this has moved on a lot since I saw it last.
Yeah, it's amazing. We've now got most of it exposed. This was all sitting in that tiny black hole we had. But I mean, it's incredibly mangled, isn't it, Steve?
Well, not really mangled, it's compressed. If you think that we've got 30 feet of fuselage here, front to back, and it's compressed into what? 5 feet. It's there, front to back. You've got the tail wheel there.
You see that with Dunlop on it there? Still bouncing.
Yeah. And at the bottom here, this is quite amazing as well. The engine has just split open. You can see Rolls-Royce.
Yeah, can you see that written?
Yeah.
Written on that's the top of the engine. And we're getting the same sort of components from the other side of the engine, split apart.
I mean, it's horrendous to see it like this, Steve, but, you know, initially, have you got any thoughts on, you know, what might have happened now?
Well, I'm rather interested in these holes here. I couldn't believe at the time that some of the first bits of metal we unearthed might contain evidence of bullet holes. Now that I think we can identify this as probably the fin of the aircraft right at the back of it, I think the significance of those holes needs to be looked at much more closely.
I mean, presumably if we could find the side of the cockpit in there with holes in it, which would be the sort of thing you'd be looking for with it.
Whether you could possibly get in that far in the time available, I don't know.
Right.
But we'll give it a go.
Well, that's what we're going to do. You can see we've exposed most of it with the JCB now working round, and well, once we've got the whole way round, about half an hour or so, we can lift it out, hopefully.
I was going to say, you actually want this chunk out that I'm sitting on, don't you? So
yes.
I better move from here then.
That will be helpful, yes, please.
Using the original manufacturer's drawings, Ray San is making a 3D computer model of a Spitfire so that we can mark on it all the bits we've found and identified.
We're actually building up a model of all the areas that have been located. You've got the machine guns illustrated already and the coping on top of the engine.
The wreckage is so badly damaged, we can only remove it piece by piece. On our full-scale plan, we've got bits of the engine still covered in oil, a part of the control column, one of the rudder pedals, a solitary propeller blade. Stuart, 3 days ago we said that we would try and pull together for Eric the story of what happened to his brother that day 60 years ago. Mm-hmm. How close are we to having done that?
What we've been able to establish on the afternoon of May the 23rd, Paul, there's a photograph, was flying in the lead section of what was the red section of 92 Squadron. They were flying at the highest altitude of 4 sections that were there. They were flying at 7,000 feet. 7,000. They met an enemy formation of 50 or 60 enemy aircraft.
And how many Spitfires were there?
4 times 3, 12 Spitfires. Paul's section was in the lead, and at the highest altitude, the German aircraft were at 8,000 to 10,000 feet, so German aircraft were higher. Paul was flying with squadron leader Bushell, the squadron CO, and he was flying as his wingman. And it may be because Paul was a relatively inexperienced pilot that he was flying with the CO to give him some guidance through that process. It appears from the reports that we have that Paul's aircraft was attacked by an ME-110, and in the combat, the ME-110 shot down Paul's aircraft, as we know. We've been able to establish from German wartime records that the pilot of that aircraft was a Hauptmann Specht, Gunther Specht, who in fact was a very experienced pilot. He'd been serving since the beginning of the war. Now, we've also been able to establish, this is a photograph of Paul here, in his flying suit, climbing into an aircraft. He was wearing that jacket, which we know because of evidence of finding that particular chain from a jacket. It appears that this photograph was taken the day of the combat, May the 23rd, and this is probably the jacket from which this chain actually comes.
Why do we think that?
Well, because there is a report from one of the other section leaders on the same day who flew in the combat in the morning that he was very, very grateful that they'd had an armoured windscreen fitted that morning because it had basically saved his life. So the fact that this one has got an armoured windscreen on here probably indicates that this is actually the day that May the 23rd when Paul's aircraft took off.
So we had 2 young pilots, both very brave, but one was more experienced than the other and he had the advantage of height.
That's right.
Paul and on that day, that was the only difference.
That's right.
I know it's not much, but this is actually yours now.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Among the pieces we found, Steve Moss identified more holes like those on the tailplane. They were the same size as the German aircraft's bullets and had been made from behind, just as you'd expect in a dogfight. One of the holes was in the side of the cockpit. Very few of Paul Klipsch's bullets were fired in return, and we know the engine was on full throttle when the plane hit the ground at more than 400 miles an hour. It's almost certain Paul Klipsch was killed in mid-air. It's hard to believe that just 3 days ago this was a pristine field full of baby sugar beet, and that after a rather frustrating start we found deep down there a whole lot of metal compacted into something about this size, and when we unravelled it, this is what we found. Virtually an entire Spitfire, including the propeller, the engine, the control panel, the undercarriage control lever that's still got the words raise and lower on it, the guns, the armour plating at the back of the pilot's seat, the radio aerial, right down to the little wheel at the back, and even the weight on the back of the rudder. But it hasn't just been Time Team who've achieved all this. We've all learnt from each other. The aircraft enthusiasts, the crash investigators, the local people, and of course Alan, and last but not least, Eric. This has been a very special Time Team. During the excavation, we also recovered some personal effects. These have now been returned to Paul Klipsch's family. Shortly after this programme was completed, Paul's stepbrother, Eric Winowen, died at the age of 82.
Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence, where never lark or even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.